Hello and welcome back to Gwen Ives Craft Design. My name is Chastity Ives, here bringing you another kit unboxing from Simon Says Stamp. I am not showing the unboxing of the card kit, just to save time. And I'm getting this out so late that you've probably seen other videos by now. But getting into the card kit though, it is packed full of goodies, and I put a bunch of them to use, specifically this patterned paper. And much like you, I have seen other people's videos, and specifically I saw Amy R from Prairie Paper and Ink, her video on the December card kit, and I was just really inspired by her to make these 7 cards. And I cut down the pattern paper to an A2 size card, got out my Festive Berries Distress Oxides and just roughed up the edges because I wanted the red. I don't know why I was thinking red, but I wanted a vintage look, so I just chose red rather than a vintage photo or a ground espresso, and just rubbed that on the sides. Then distressed the sides with my Tim Holtz paper distressor. Then I got out the Tim Holtz, I believe this is Snowflake. This is just a sparkly sort of grit paste that I put on each card front after I distressed it. And it just gives that extra sparkle when the light hits it. Because these are going to be pretty simple at the end of the day, and just adding this extra bit of something really just kind of brings it together. And on this one I tried to keep away from the Santa's face just because I thought that'd be kind of interesting. But yeah, I ended up making 7 cards because I thought I needed 7, but then once I started mailing them I was like, oh, I only need 6, so my husband gets 1. Yeah, and then the kit comes with this red paper, and it's super pretty, and the paw print you see there also comes in the kit. And I just die cut these in batches. Did the holiday cheer first, set those off to the side, did the backgrounds, set that off to the side while I was doing the card fronts. And I'll be honest, I didn't have enough of the red paper to finish all of my Happy Holidays or holiday cheer die. So what I did instead is I had some mica sprays from Tim Holtz that I just sprayed on some paper, and you'll see the difference between which one is the red paper and which one is the one that I handed. And it's just, I think I used Yuletide, Sugary Gumdrop, and a couple other, maybe 1 or 2 other red mica sprays, and let that dry overnight, and cut those out. And it's just something a little different. So yeah, then glued those down, and by the time I glued down the word holiday cheer, I put the dots from the eyes on the shadow layer, and I kid you not, I lost one of those red one of those dots for the eyes, and I spent 5 minutes looking for it, and eventually I found it on the ground. How it got there, I don't know, but thank God I found it, because I was like, what do I do? What am I gonna do? But I figured it out. So anyways, so while those were drying, I set those off to the side, and then got out my Tim Holtz tonic paper cutter, then the Misty, and decided to stamp the insides of my card bases with the Making Spirits Bright stamp. And I wasn't looking for a perfect stamp in the inside of the card. I literally just took Festive Berries, barely touch the stamp because I wanted it distressed to match the card front, and stamped those, and all was good. So once those were dry, I then went in and got my card bases, or sorry, the back of the card base onto the card. And I just had this, and you'll notice that some of these are different than, sorry, the card bases are a little bit different than each other, which is fine. I just didn't have enough red paper. um, so some of them have white card bases, some are red. And then the kit comes with this glue stick, so I just used the glue stick to glue that red piece of paper down. And then I recently got in this ephemera from Tim Holtz, and they're just ribbons that I wanted to include on these cards. And I have some tatting thread that I've just had on hand and wrapped those around the card fronts. And it was based on the some videos I've seen from Amy R. I've seen her do a few like this, and mine aren't perfect. I mean, honestly, this is the first time I've used this sort of embellishment, so I didn't really know what I was doing. So, but in the end, I love how it turned out. But yeah, so I included 6 of these on 6 cards. The 7th one didn't get a ribbon, which is fine. That's the one I kept for my husband. And then just took the Simon Says Stamp tacky glue and just glued that down to the card front. And some of the cards, I decided, okay, they needed a little bit extra. So I took some scrap piece of paper that was around and that I, had left over from cutting these down to size, and just kind of placed them randomly around the card front. So here you can see me using the tape measure piece of paper and cutting that down, and obviously having to work around the string just because, I wasn't thinking beforehand before I laid all this down. So I did get a little bit better once I once I figured out, I want to do a little bit more. And the card kit also comes with Tim Holtz's Christmas sticker book. And so each card gets some stickers on there as well. It's just really cute, and I really enjoyed putting these cards together, using all the different elements. It's not perfect. It's not the super cleanest, but it's something for me, I guess, and I'm proud of it. Yeah. The one thing I would do differently is probably not use so much string, because it's a lot. Like, specifically this particular one, there's a lot of times I wrapped that around the card front, so I probably would do less next time. But you live and you learn. I still love these cards, and this particular one, I was going to make just a simple card front with no lift or anything, and I stamped out the Making Spirits Bright, and you can probably tell where it is on this card front once I lay it down. But I used some vintage pearl, and it didn't turn out the way I thought it was going to, which is fine, no harm, no foul. And it kind of just adds to this sort of piece of paper's aesthetic. So it kind of worked in the end. But yeah, they're really pretty. And I tried to use as much from the kit as possible, just because I wanted to get my money's worth out of it. And I think I did. And anyone really can. I mean, this Christmas sticker book is full of stickers that you can use for all types of Christmas cards, and I have used them on a few other cards that I'll make videos on and get out here shortly. So yeah, it's full of stickers. And the patterned paper is also something I've been really into lately, and using as much of the patterned paper as possible, and then using the scraps. And you'll see here shortly, a card that I make at the end that uses the scraps, and again, it's one of my favorites. I really love it. It really turned out the way I envisioned, which is always nice. So after I got done with all these cards, you'll see shortly, I had extra pieces of paper that not only did I use for the extra card, the card or two, I think I used two, but I also used it for tags. And, I really, like I said, just wanted to get as much out of this as I could, and I really did do that. So proud of myself there. This one is probably my favorite. The postage sort of, look of this patterned paper. And I really loved this one. I really had fun with it. And it's one of my favorites. That's for sure. You'll have to let me know which one's your favorite. I think the reason that it's my favorite is because I cut out, this piece of patterned paper and turned it over, and it's like a little ledger. So I just took a bunch of stickers from the sticker book and put them in there, and it really I thought it was just super cute. I don't know. It really worked out. This card, I also used one of the patterned papers that also had a ledger, and used the sticker book to again fill out as much as possible and just kind of make it something, a list of of things, and it's super cute. This card, I decided to use as much of the scraps as I possibly could, and I used a lot of them. Again, with the measuring tape, every piece that was left over on the other 6 cards or 5 cards was used on this card. So that's from the Making the Spirits Bright mess up I did. I love this one. This green pattern paper. It reminds me of the Pines stamp from Tim Holtz. It's super cute. And, the patchwork of this card front really pulls all of the random pieces of paper I'm putting on here into into focus. And it's again with another ledger. Love it. I just really loved. I think I really probably was just in a sort of sticker mood and just getting as much on there as possible and filling out these ledgers. uh, So after making all of the cards, I still had paper left over, pattern paper left over, and the kit comes with tags, with 12 tags, and I decided to take all the scraps and cut them down to size to make the background to the tags, and I think they really turned out really well. And the sort of look I was going for, or maybe not look, but um, uh, type, is a shaker tag, because I have a bunch of shaker elements that I just have, that I haven't been able to use lately, and honestly I need to clear up my stash. So what a perfect time to do it now, and that's what I ended up doing. But not only that did I make them shaker cards, but in the inside of the shaker card is the sentiment making spirit spray, and I heat embossed that on all of the shaker backgrounds. And I honestly just did this in steps. I put my anti-static powder down. I inked up my stamp, stamped it, put the embossing powder on, set that off to the side, and then repeated that until I was done, and then went through and heat embossed all of those pieces of paper, just so I didn't have to keep turning on and off my heat tool. And I think it just turned out fine. Some of the backgrounds, maybe the word making spirits bright might be lost in, but that's okay. It's, you know, it's a tag. It's not anything too special, I guess, in my opinion. I mean, obviously I still want them to hold on to it, but and I still want it to look pretty. But anyways. And the stamp set also comes with snowflakes, so I stamped those on the bigger tag backgrounds to also heat emboss those, just because the making spirit sprite was kind of too small for what I wanted. And the snowflakes I wanted to use again, just to get my money's worth out of it, and it worked out. And I think probably the snowflakes are my favorite of the tags, just because I just love the detail of it, and heat embossing them and making it as shiny as possible. Oh, I love that. And this one, oh yeah, my favorite. But I plan to put all these tags on some of my husband's Christmas gifts, because he has not seen any of these cards yet. So he'll be genuinely surprised with not only the tags, but the cards and just everything I was able to do. And it's kind of really satisfying to watch someone heat emboss and obviously cut down some acetate sheets. And then I really sped this up because no one really needs to see me lay down tacky tape here from Alt New. Yeah, it's the same process over and over. And I believe I used the Simon Says stamp silver shaker embellishments, and then I used waffle flower foam tape to prop the background up. And I really love that foam tape. It's such a perfect width for these tags that it really just worked out. Now, if I was really thinking, I would have used gold shaker elements, but silver works just as good, so I don't hate it. Then also did this is the scrap card, where I used all of the pattern paper scraps, just cut them into strips in varying sizes. There's no one that's the same size, and yeah, just cut them into strips, made sure they were even, and then cut out the holiday cheer shadow layer into this card front. So you'll see it, there's I guess a hole, or the shadow layer is the the hole to see the background, the white background that I put. You'll see here in a second what I mean. But first cut that down with my scissors, then got out the paper trimmer just to cut off the edges. And then, oh no, I used all the joy paper trimmer, or dice cut. I forgot. I've done so many of these. I forgot which one I did. But yeah, just did that. The red piece of paper in the background, put the gold on top, and got out my score buddy. And attached the card front to the card base, and that was a completed card. Oh, but I forgot. I did put gold splatter on the card front, which I love, just to give it that something extra. I still had more scraps left over, and I wanted to use them all because, you know, the next time I'm going to use them will be a year from now, and I don't want to hold on to all of these scraps for that long. So this time, rather than put them at a diagonal, I did them at just straight up and down. Did the same process as before, cut off all the random edges, got out the paper trimmer, trimmed it up so that I didn't have these random edges. Then I took another die, and this time it was the SSS I guess ripped paper die, and just cut this out because I wanted the trimmed paper effect. Cut out holiday cheer as well. Put a white piece of paper on the background. Got a red holiday cheer. Glued that down to the white piece of paper. Made sure not to lose the dot to my eye. And then put that on a red card front. And put the red card front on the gray card base, which the gray card base comes in the card kit. And here I am just again using what I cut out of the shadow layer from Holiday Cheer. I just put I just made another holiday cheer, but on this time on the front of the holiday, the shadow layer. Simple card, but was able to use all the scraps. I'll probably give it to a neighbor of mine. And I still had this left over, so I got out a waffle flower A2 size die, cut that out just to make a frame. And then tried to figure out what I was going to do with the background of the frame. Glued that down with the craft tacky glue onto a white piece of paper, cut the blue down to fit in the middle of the holiday cheer. And I tried to line up the holiday cheer with the patterned paper frame so that it was similar. So it wasn't like off center or anything. So, because that would have looked weird. And I was trying to figure out what color background I wanted to do. I'm still not convinced blue was it, but it's all right. And there you go. There's another card. All in all, I got 7 or 8 cards and 12 tags. Thank you so much for watching.